massive night of racing at Tabcorp Park Menangle on Saturday night. Amanda Rando with me for the preview. Amanda, we get to see the 3-year-olds with the heats of the Oaks and also the Derby.
Yeah, it's a fantastic night. 9 races, so yeah, I can't wait.
Well, let's see if we can find some winners. Race number 1, and this is the first heat of the Derby. My numbers are 6, 5, 8 and 2. Going with the 6, which is Power of Red, back from his Victorian campaign. Had a chat with Amanda Turnbull. She's expecting him to be better on his home track, and I think he can get up outside the lead at some stage in the race and give them something to think about. 5 Zidana's got very good gate speed. Nathan Jack is confident that he can lead the race. And I can see him leading and Power of Red up outside, and then the speed dropping right off. Outside of those, I thought maybe number 8, Don't Hold Back, a horse that has been very good through the Victorian Derby series, and best of the rest, number 2, Sprinter, who's got very good speed from the WA trainer Gary Elson's stable. So numbers there in race number 1, Amanda. I'm going 6, 5, 8 and 2.
Greg, I'm going a bit different here. My numbers are 2, 3, 6 and 1. I really like the number 2, Sprinter. He has a bit of early gate speed, so enough to find a forward position. I think, I don't know if he'll get the lead or hold it, but I think enough to get a good position anyway. And he was quite smart leading throughout last start at Menangle in 54 and seemed to do it quite easily as well. I think the 3, Frankie Rocks, is going to be a big danger. His last few starts up in Queensland have been very impressive. Actually, his 3-year-old campaign has been quite impressive. He's been winning around the 153 mile rates up there, so got to take that seriously. Also like the 6, Power of Red. I think he's been slightly below his best his last couple of starts. The way he won at Menangle a few starts ago in 151 and change was very super. So if he gets back to that form, he's obviously right in this. And also like the 1, Code Black. So race 1, my numbers are 2, 3, 6 and 1.
Race number 2, this is the second heat of the New South Wales Derby, and this is a really tough race. So I'm going to go 8, 6, 2 and 3. I'm going with number 8, Ascot Encounter. Horse wanted to over race last start, and I really want to see the horse relax, because if he doesn't, he won't run a strong 2,400 metres. But I think he's got a turn of foot that most of these horses don't have, and if he's able to be saved up for the one run at them, I can see him coming home over the top of them. Hardest to beat in the race is number 6, Match in Heaven. He's been really good since resuming. Expect him to sprint hard at the finish as well, although he does have some gate speed, so it will be interesting to see what Blake Fitzpatrick does at the start. I thought number 2, Bralo's Pass, Nathan Jack's drive for Mark Watson. Horse has been competing in Victoria and also went across to South Australia and has been very good and has speed. And I thought number 3, Charleville from the Kerry Ann Turner stable. The horse has gone to the next level in its last few, and I've thrown it in for 4th. 8, 6, 2 and 3. Yeah,
for race 2, I like the 6 on top, Match in Heaven. He's just a really classy little horse, has a really quick turn of speed, and he's remained unbeaten in his 3 starts as a 3-year-old, and he's looked quite smart in each of those wins. So I really like him for race 2. I think the 3, Charleville, as you mentioned, Hazy, he's really stepped it up the last few starts, ever since he won the Simpson Memorial a few starts ago. So he's got a really quick turn of speed as well, so he's right in there. I think the 8, the one you tip, Hazy, Ascot Encounter, he's a big chance as well. As you said, he's another one with a quick turn of speed. And to round out your first 4, I'm also including the 1, which is Sam's the Master. So for race 2 at Menangle, my numbers are 6, 3, 8 and 1.
Race number 3, and this is the 3rd heat of the Derby, and we see our Waikiki Beach involved in this one, and he'll be a very short price favourite. I'm going 10, 9, 1 and 4. I've put our Waikiki Beach on top. He'll win the heat. He'll win the final. Hardest to beat tomorrow night. Number 9, Cleaned Out. Robbie Morris seemed really confident in our podcast when we recorded that on Thursday. I wouldn't be surprised to see them make use of him at the start. I know they've got a fair opinion of him in the stable. He's no superstar, but he's a really nice horse, and no surprise to see him finish 2nd. 1, Stanley Ross Robin, the former Kiwi, now with the Hewitt camp, has been racing well since arriving in Australia. Was a winner last time out at Menangle, and from the good draw shouldn't be too far away. And I thought number 4, Shadow Runner. Now, he's been staying away from Menangle of late. He's been concentrating on races up in Newcastle, but he's been handling the grade there well, and he's a horse that we've seen plenty of before, and he's performed well. 10, 9, 1 and 4 for me in race 3.
Yeah, Hazy, look, it's a bit hard not to tip our Waikiki Beach on top, which is number 10. He should make it 15 from 15. As for the rest of them, I really like the 1, Stanley Ross Robin. Thought he was impressive winning last start, but his run the start before that, finishing 3rd, was quite eye-catching also. Best of the rest, I think the 4, Shadow Runner, is worth including. He was a really classy 2-year-old, and I'm sure he's going to be right there there in this race as well. And also like the 6, King of the Stars for the Emma Stewart camp. So race 3, I've got the 10 on top ahead of 1, 4 and 6 at Menangle.
Race number 4, it's a Group 2 feature. This is the Pink Bonnet for the 2-year-old fillies, and there's been a really good go through fixed odds for Eliza Dushku, the first starter. My numbers here, 9, 3, 1 and 12. Going to go with this first starter from the Nathan Jack team and Amanda Turnbull. Eliza Dushku, the horse has had the 2 trials, has been very impressive in both of them. Had a chat with Amanda about the horse. She said really well put together. She's a nice size betters, and she's expecting the horse to be very competitive on Saturday night. Now, the hardest to beat in the race is 3, She's a Sports Girl. Nathan Jack did say that this horse, Eliza Dushku, had been trialling against She's a Sports Girl and had been beating it. So no surprise to see those two at the head of the affair when the judge calls a halt. Number 1, Fleur de Neige. Now, this one's trained by Aaron Goadsby. Went to Bathurst for debut, got absolutely skittled. And I didn't think its run was too bad when you take that into consideration. And number 12 finished for 4th for me, Go Home Joe. Finished 3rd at Bathurst and just wanted to switch off halfway up the straight, but expect it to be driven in a different manner on Saturday night. 9, 3, 1 and 12 for me in race 4.
Yeah, race 4, it's a bit of the unknown with a couple of these horses having their first start. I'm tipping the 12 on top, Go Home Joe for Jared Ouch, and she, for her first start, travelled all the way out to Bathurst. She raced outside the leader. It was a big ask for a 2-year-old having her first start, I thought, and I thought she did well to finish 3rd. Back to her local track in Barrier 12, she should get a nice run in the running line, so I like her in race 4. Danger-wise, I like the 9 as well. Eliza Dushku has been trialling really well in Victoria, and as Hazy just said, the camp seemed to have a bit of a rap on her as well. Others to consider, I'm throwing in the 6, It's All Bliss. I thought it won well at Bathurst first up, and also its stablemate, number 7, Midnight in Hanover. So for race 4 at Menangle, my numbers are 12, 9, 6 and 7.
Race number 5, and this is the Brian Hancock Free-for-All. We've got another short price favourite here from the Purton camp in Smolder. My numbers are 5, 10, 6 and 1. Putting Smolder on top at some stage in the race. Just speaking with Shane Tritton, he is quite confident that if Easy on the Eye can cross Smolder, there'll be no lead for Smolder, but even outside the leader, he just controls the race. So I think he's the way to go. Hardest to beat, number 10, Franco Ledger. Horse has been competing in the Hunter Cup, also went round in the Bendigo Cup, and turned the clock back 12 months ago, and this horse was very competitive in races at Menangle, so I've put it in for 2nd. I've thrown in number 6, I Mr. Brightside, for 3rd. His run last week was really good, just having a look at the videos, and I didn't think his run behind horses like Montefieth and Bling It On was all that bad, so I've put him in for 3rd. I actually think that he'll be suited by the trip. And number 1, Cold Major, for 4th. So it's 5, 10, 6 and 1 for me in race 5.
Yeah, I really like Smolder as well. He's been racing sensational. His win in the Hunter Cup was strong, and he was brave in defeat in the Victoria Cup as well, and he has a pretty good record around Menangle. Outside of that, I'm sticking with Menangle form. I think the 12 Mac Beauty can run a big race. His last 2 starts have been quite good, and I think with this draw he's not going to be used out of the gate, and if he's saved for one crack at them, he ran a really slick last half 2 starts ago, being held up for a run, so yeah, I think he can run a big race. I also like the 8, Easy on the Eye. He's been a revelation this time in, hasn't he, Hazy? He won well 2 starts ago with Nat Rasmussen in the sulk. He ran another good 3rd last start, so I think he can finish in the money. As well as number 6, I'm Mr. Brightside, who's been a bit unlucky of late. So race 5, I've got the 5 on top ahead of 12, 8 and 6.
Race number 6, it's the Rod Fitzpatrick Memorial, the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings race for the $50,000 at Group 2 level, and there's been a good go through fixed odds for number 3, the Storm Inside. As soon as markets went up, the punters were keen to back it. I'm going to go 9, 3, 7 and 12, going with number 9, Blue Moon Rising. His run at Bathurst was great. His run at Menangle was just as good. I think he's going to take a lot of beating, and again, the camp's very confident and ran some super times on Tuesday in preparation for this. And the important factor for me, he's been here. There's speed inside him. There's a lot of speed inside him. They could go very fast in the first 400. Him on top. Hardest to beat, number 3, the Storm Inside. Very hard to ignore a horse that goes 156 as a 2-year-old on debut at any track. And that's what this horse did at Melton. Has good gate speed, but there is some speed drawn inside it. Prince Syntax, watch for a change of tactics there. They went back last time. 7, San Domino. If there's speed on, watch for this horse to rattle home. A ripper of a trial at Bathurst going back before it actually debuted. And I've thrown in the 12 for fourth, and that's Atomic Red. It's a brother to Power of Red. Probably doesn't have as much ability, but still quite handy. So numbers for me, and really keen on the 9. 9 Blue Moon Rising to beat 3, 7 and 12.
Yeah, Hazy, I like the 3 here. The Storm Inside, as you mentioned, the horse was backed really well for this race, and I thought his win first up at Melton was very impressive, and he has a good draw here, which is very important in this race, I think. Danger-wise, and for the value here, I don't mind the 7, San Domino. As you said, his win at Bathurst the other week was very, very impressive. Yes, he was in the 1-1 and you'd think it was an easy run, but he ran a really slick last half and he crossed the line with his ears pricked. He did it really easily. So as you said, if he's sitting off the speed and has one crack at them, I could see him right in the finish here. Have to include the 9 Blue Moon Rising for the Shane Tritton camp. This horse has been impressive, winning its 2 starts to date. And I'm also including the 6 Our Triple Play. So for race 6, my numbers are 3, 7, 9 and 6.
Race number 7, the Robin Dundee Classic. Last chance for mares to get into this year's Ladyship Mile. And the only problem in this race is that the first 4 past the post are guaranteed into the Ladyship. So that may mean the race not as competitive as we have seen some of the mares' races at Menangle. I'm going to go 10, 7, 3 and 1. Going with 10 Beresari. Got the terrible draw. Needs to overcome that. Hasn't been able to overcome that of late. But again, Nathan Jack saying she's in career best form. She's just not having much luck. I assume that they go back early and then they just come with the 1 run. If she's up to her best, she's one of the best mares in the country, and I've got her on top. Hardest to beat number 7, which is Start Dreaming, the Barry Purdon trained mare. We've seen her here now for 1 run. She was good on that occasion. She should make her way into the Ladyship Mile. She deserves to be there. Her form is solid back home in Victoria. It had been very good prior to coming to Sydney. I've thrown the 3 Juliet Bromack in for 3rd. Josh Aiken just took off maybe 100 metres earlier than he wanted to last week, and that probably hurt her a little bit, but from the better draw, she'll be in the finish. And number 1, My Willow, the second the second mare from the Purdon team, just a little bit concerned with her gate speed and where she gets to. 10, 7, 3 and 1 for me, race 7.
Yeah, I really like the 7 Hazy, Start Dreaming. I think good value. She's currently around the $3 mark too, and look, if she goes as well as her win last start where she went 150-1-7, I think she'll be really hard to beat. A bit more value for this race. I also like the 5 Millwood Liberty as a big danger here. She won really well 2 starts ago. She went 150-1-7 as well, and she proved in that run she can mix it with the best of them. She drew wide last week, but she powered home to finish 7th, and she ran the quickest last half of that race. She went 53 and change. So for a bit of value, I'm including Millwood Liberty, or aka Big Bird, as some might know her. I'm also including the 1 My Willow as my 3rd pick. As you said, I think the 1 barrier draw could be a bit of a concern for her, but you can't underestimate her ability. And also like the 3 Juliet Bromack. So race 7, I've got the 7 on top ahead of 5, 1 and 3.
Race 8, this is the first of the Oaks heats, and I'm probably the competitive Oaks heat too, because I've got Our Dream About Me in the other one. Plenty of chances here. I'm going 1, 3, 2 and 6. 1 Sports Report. She's been so good since she's resumed. She's been racing on country tracks, Junee. She's also raced at Temora. She's raced at Bathurst. She's raced at Young. But she has been to Menangle, most importantly, and she does handle the track. She won a blue final there. She's only had the 2 starts on the track for a win and a 3rd. And if she gets away from barrier 1 okay, I think she'll take a lot of holding out. Number 3, Day Delicious, is the interesting runner. She's the WA runner. She's been very good in the West. She's shown how tough she is. Question for me is these horses coming across and having their first start on the track. 2 Zabibo, gee, she impressed me last time out about Our Dream About Me. She really knuckled down in the last 400. She really wanted to hit the line. And even Ashley Grives was really surprised with how much the filly really dug deep when she had to last time out. And I've thrown number 6 in for 4th, which is got to go Jazzy Jet. But there are a number of first 4 chances. I'll be playing wide in that race for first 4s. 1, 3, 2 and 6.
Yeah, I really like Ash Graves' horse, number 2, Zabibo. This horse was very impressive, finishing 2nd to Our Dream About Me, and it was her first start since August. So she's obviously going to have a bit of improvement off that run, and drawn well here. I think she's hard to ignore. This race is obviously over the 2,400 metres. She's raced over the 2,000 metres before and raced well, and she had raced the better fillies last season too. So I really like her in race 8. Danger-wise, I agree. The 3 Dodelicious is the one to keep an eye on, I think. She comes over from Western Australia with a fantastic record. She's won 9 of her 14 starts and has raced over the 2,000 metres before, which is important for me in this race. Also including the 9 Art Mistress. She's been racing super lately. And also the 5 Merrywood Ruby. My only concern with Merrywood Ruby, she's only raced the mile, so she hasn't. I don't know if she'll get the 2400, but she has been racing well enough to be included. So for race 8, I've got the 2 on top ahead of 3, 9, and 5.
And that brings us to race 9, the last, and this is the second of the Oaks heats. Very short price favourite in Our Dream About Me. Probably an early speed battle to get to the front and then hand over to her. I'm going to go 5, 3, 8 and 11. Our Dream About Me on top. She picks herself. Soho Madeline. She actually raced Our Dream About Me through the Breeders' Crown season, the Breeders' Crown series last year. She ran third in a semi-final behind Our Dream About Me and then was down the track in the final. She goes okay. She's got good speed. She shouldn't be too far away from the good draw. Horse is drawn a little bit wider than Our Dream About Me, a little bit concerned, but I've thrown the 8 Rock and Roll Magic in for third. Be interesting to see what Mark Pitt does on this filly to try and get her into the final. Wouldn't want to be caught up outside Our Dream About Me, but there might not be a lot of speed on once the Kiwi filly finds the top. And I've thrown in horse number 11, Get in the Groove for fourth. Thought it might be able to push through off that second row, and its form in Queensland's been really good. 5, 3, 8 and 11 for me in the last.
Yeah, 5 for me as well in the last, Our Dream About Me, which should be hard to beat, you would think, considering she's unbeaten in 10 starts. Others to consider, I like the 8 Rock and Roll Magic, has strong form in Victoria from the Emma Stewart stable, whose stable usually fires when they come up to Menangle as well. Also like the 11, Get in the Groove for Grant Dixon. This horse has really strong Queensland form, and also the 10, Gina Gray. So race 9, I've got the 5 on top ahead of 8, 11 and 10.
We need best bets. My best bet is in the Rod Fitzpatrick Memorial. I'm putting a Blue Moon Rising as my best bet. Going to take on the Emma Stewart trained the Storm inside. So Blue Moon Rising for me.
Yeah, for me, look, I really like in race 2, number 6, Match in Heaven. It's a real tough race, but I just love this little horse and I think he can win.
All right, so there it is. That's the preview for night 2 of the Carnival of Miracles, and we'll be back next week with a special Miracle Mile preview on Trots TV.